This episode is brought to you by Sable International, building futures beyond borders.
Welcome back to the Relocated South African. Today I'm speaking with someone who has lived more than one life. Entrepreneur, former co-owner of Baza Tatri in, I don't know if I'm saying it Zakopane, but she's now living in Bielsko-Bio. But anyway, she'll correct me. She's a mycophile, a squash coach, neuroscience nerd, a rehab trainer, a traveler, and a South African who's been abroad for 25 years. Thank you for joining us, Retha Jacobs. When I moved to Portugal, I had no idea how much paperwork was involved. Police clearances, apostille certificates, unabridged documents. It can feel overwhelming. Apostille takes care of it all for you. They apply, follow up, and courier everything directly to your door, whether you are still in South Africa or already settled abroad. Click the link in the description below and let Apostille take it from there.
Hello. Thank you, Jan.
Great to have you on the show.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you can give us just a small geography lesson and the right pronunciation of where you are today.
So today I'm near Bielsko-Biała. It's on the western border of Poland. It's a little bit south of Krakow. So Krakow is what most people would know, and we're close to the Czech border.
Is it a mountainous area?
There are mountains here, yes, but it's not that well known for the mountains as the place I used to live, which was in the high mountains and a very popular town in Poland where most people come skiing and hiking. So yeah, the Tatras is maybe something that someone would know about. And a lot of people come here for skiing and hiking there. And now that is about 2.5 hours drive from where I am now.
Oh,
so
okay,
yes,
awesome.
I think the other place that people would know maybe is Auschwitz, which is 30 kilometers from where I live now. So
oh, wow.
Just
okay.
to put that into perspective.
Yeah, not a nice place, but at least people come there to come and see.
Yes.
Awesome. I always ask my guests for a short history, like where did you grow up, study, and how did it happen that you left South Africa?
Yes. Well, I grew up in Pretoria East. So I went to Waterkloof High School. I didn't want to study. So in the time when it became kind of, everybody was talking in matric what to do next year. Me and my two best friends decided that we will just skip the whole thing and go to London. And, it was obviously a bit of a shocker for our parents. It's not what people expected us to do. But it was in this time, 25 years ago, where it was quite popular for people to go. So we left, and I spent some years in London, in England, and I came back to study in Porch. I did a BSc Human Movement Science degree in Potchefstroom, but then I left straight away again. Went back to London. I continued studies there. I did an MSc in Neuroscience in King's College while working and living the life in London. I don't know. Yeah, it was so much fun. I enjoyed it so much. 20s up until my 30s, and then I met a Polish partner, and she was from Zakopane. I've never heard of the place. In fact, I wasn't really sure about Poland, and we came here on holiday once, and I just loved it. We came in the winter, and there was snow everywhere, and it was just beautiful. And within a year, it happened that I relocated to Zakopane. It was quite difficult. It's a small town in the mountains in Poland. Not many people spoke English. And yeah, I ended up living in Zakopane for almost 12 years. Then after that in Krakow for a year, and now I'm in Bielsko-Biała, near Bielsko-Biała, also in a small village.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're going to get to all that. So, in the time after you left the UK and maybe arrived in Poland, did you ever consider going back to South Africa?
Well, I did for my studies. It was the easiest option. I was two years in London, and then thought, okay, I need to have something like a degree, and because I was on a working holiday visas in England, I thought the easiest way would be to go back to South Africa to do 3 years and then go back. But after that, I never really thought about it. Only now, in the last few years, I've missed South Africa. I feel like I want to be closer to South Africa. My family, everybody's growing up. My sister and brother's kids. Yeah, my parents are getting older, and I feel the lack of time that I get to spend with them. So yes, only now.
That's a line. That's a line that goes through every conversation on the podcast. Is the, people really, really miss their families. And I always say South Africans who immigrate, it's far. It's a long distance. It's not just to hop on a plane and go back for a weekend. So the family issue comes out in every conversation. But Retha, in the early days, how big an issue was the language? And even today, is it possible to live in Poland without speaking the language?
It is possible. It definitely is possible, but it's hard. It is definitely. It depends where in Poland you live. I guess these days, especially like in the last 10 years, it's possible to live in Krakow and Warsaw, Wrocław even, without speaking the language, because there are many expats, many people from abroad, companies from overseas. So it's not completely necessary, but especially on the outskirts, if you're in smaller towns, which actually I think a lot of South Africans are, it's difficult if you don't speak the language. And I guess from your travels as well that you integrate much better, and people really appreciate it when you do speak the language. I don't know, you just feel more of an outsider if you never learn it. That's for sure.
No, absolutely. And my sense is that, Eastern European languages like Hungarian and Polish and some of those languages are really hard to speak. Did you find it very difficult to learn?
Yes. To be honest, I'm still learning.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's like now it's maybe 14 years later, and I have to say I'm still
Oh, my word. Okay.
just scratching the surface. But to be honest, yes, I mean, Polish are considered one of the hardest languages to learn. I know that amongst Hungarian and Finnish. But I started learning in London, so I took some courses, and 6 months before I moved here. And when I arrived here, I was like, wait, hold on, that's not that language and this language that you're speaking. It doesn't even sound the same.
That's very true. I found this.
Yeah, it was really tough. Polish was very harsh on my ear. Living in London, I had a lot of friends from Sweden, from Spain, from Portugal, and somehow it was really easy to find little bits of communication, easy to learn. I mean, for Afrikaans people, also Germanic languages are in general quite easy, so that opens a lot of Western Europe for you. But when it comes to Slavic and Polish languages, it's really tough. And now I speak it. I can speak Polish. I can have conversations in Polish at work in Zakopane. A lot of that happened in Polish. Yeah, it's clear that when a Polish person listens to me, that it's very clear that I'm still learning. Yeah.
So before we get to talking about life in Poland, I'm really interested in all the things that you have done and you still do Now, just a question, are you a naturally curious person that, you studied neuroscience and human movement, and I still want to find out. I had to go and read up what a microfile is.
Yes, I guess. I get in, maybe nowadays they call it maybe ADHD. That's true. Yeah, it's a trend now, but yes, I guess so. I've just been interested in a lot of things in my life. And just yeah, how does that work, or what about this? What's going on here? Like, and traveling was always, yeah, I was so interested in so many things. So yes.
Yeah, so your first business was basically a tourism business in Zakopane.
Yes, well, in Poland, yes. When I was in England, I worked as a personal trainer and like rehabilitation trainer, also as like, what do you call it, like one person entrepreneurship, or so I had my own
Small
company
business.
for this. But yes, when I moved to Poland, because Zakopane is such a tourist hub. People come really from all over the world. It's becoming more and more popular also for people to learn to ski and come hiking in the mountains. It was the obvious kind of route for me there. My partner's mother sold apartments, so she was in the real estate company. So what happened initially is that when she sold an apartment to someone that doesn't live here, so lots of people, like in other tourist towns, buy apartments as investments and then rent it out to holiday guests. So we would be like managers for them, rent it out to holiday guests, and then from there we started a whole travel company basically around it, offering tours, ski lessons, snowboarding, hiking, all of the things that you can do in Zakopane, and then also a souvenir company around this, which was kind of all in one. So we had the office right at the train station. People would arrive, come to check in, to book themselves in, and there they could literally get everything to make their holiday as easy as possible. Because at that time there wasn't a lot of English information, and people found it quite difficult to get around. Now it is much easier.
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. And the microfile, that's to do with mushrooms, is that right?
Yes, yes. Yes.
The ones
I
that
don't know, is
you
it
that you use to be happy.
mushrooms, the world of mushrooms and fungi, it's so vast that yeah, it covers everything really when it comes to that. Just as a footnote to that, the national sport in Poland is mushroom picking. So so the whole interest in mushrooms definitely really only started when I moved here, because it fascinated me. People would go into the forest, groups and groups, families come out with baskets full of mushrooms, and I was like, what's going on here? Yeah, it started like 12 years ago, this fascination. Yeah, now it's grew into something else.
That is, when you say it's grown into something else, have you made a business out of that?
Not yet.
Okay.
But maybe in the future. For now, I'm just learning like every day, and I'm growing my own mushrooms. So I have outside in the garden a big tent that I'm growing oyster mushrooms and different variations. I'm kind of experimenting for now how to do it all.
But this is really fascinating. I mean, when we grew up in South Africa, we were obviously always scared. We were told you don't pick mushrooms because they can be poisonous, and there were always horror stories of people that got sick and died from eating poisonous mushrooms. Are those there in Poland as well?
Yes, they're everywhere.
So when it's a national sport, how do you make sure that people know what they're picking?
There, especially with mushrooms, there are a few that is very hard to confuse with the poisonous ones. They have like a rubbery sponge underneath, like the porcini or something, some of those variations. And so like the novice Polish picker, and actually the kind of family sport pickers, they know from very young age, like at least 3 or 4 different mushrooms that grow in abundance in Poland. So they just stick with those, and it gets passed on from generation to generation which ones are the ones that you can pick. But then when you really look at it, there are only a very, very few that are super dangerous and that might kill you. But they are very distinct. So,
okay.
Yes.
And I have to ask.
And actually, some of the ones that we were taught are toxic, people use for various, I would say, like soul-searching.
That's what I was going to ask you. So the psychedelics, that's become a huge business, I believe.
Yes. No, it is. I mean, as a neuroscientist, like as I studied neuroscience, I'm also fascinated in what it can do for the mind. There are a lot of research into if psychedelics and this idea of not thinking the same, because it does change something in these moments of how your neurons connect to each other, the pathways it follows, and people find that it does just open your mind a little bit. So there are a lot of research into this, especially for people with PTSD, like post-traumatic stress disorder, just to get yourself just out of a state, maybe to loosen something, and for depression, many different things. So even Alzheimer's now, they are looking into, and not even psychedelic mushrooms, but things like lion's mane and all of the other reishi that's now kind of mushrooms that you hear about, because it is becoming more popular to take it as a supplement as well. I mean, PTSD is a big thing in America, but I think also in South Africa it was, although no one ever spoke about it because it was before the time. I often think that my generation's parents, like my father and his kind of peers, that were maybe in the war in Angola or around South Africa. I think there is a lot going on there when it comes to PTSD, but no one ever spoke about it, and they never got the treatment that they want. And it definitely changed the generation.
No, that's for sure.
And it's still an ongoing problem.
I didn't go to the war, but it was around my time. Yeah, so
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, last thing about your work. You were a squash coach in the UK. I mean, squash has gone by the wayside now. Do you still play squash in Poland?
Yes, I do.
So okay, because we got a friend who was a pro in the UK, and he's now a big paddle player because there's just no squash in Portugal. But so it still is available in Poland.
Yes, actually, in the time that I moved here, it was booming. And in the UK, it was definitely going for a dip, because I worked with English squash like federation or association then, and we would go into schools to try to generate more I don't know, just interest in the sport again. The clubs were empty. But to be honest, in the last years, it's really picked up, even in England a bit again. Okay. But here in Poland, 14 years ago, it was like a new boom sport. All of a sudden, everybody wanted to play, and it was good for me because I could play in tournaments again and go around Poland, and I had a lot of fun with this. And because I played as a child, I was like 10, 15 years ahead. Okay. Because in South Africa, when I grew up, it was still, more popular. And I guess now, I went to I recently bought an apartment in Cape Town, and I plan to go back and forth a little bit more. And I was there for 3 months and joined a club there. And actually, it's people are playing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's just, it seems like, in the US, pickleball has become crazy big, and
Yeah, and paddle.
here in Europe, and especially Spain and Portugal, paddle is just massive. They've just, near us, they've opened a big indoor paddle center, because obviously in winter it sometimes can get a bit wet and so on, with the outside
Yes.
courts. But paddle's huge. The problem is the old people like myself. I had to stop because my knees are so fraught. But I saw an orthopedic surgeon a while ago about my knees, and he said, because mine's from skiing and running, he said a third of his practice in Portugal now is paddle injuries of older people, because so
Yeah,
that,
well, and paddle is actually, I guess, much softer on your body than, for instance, squash or things like this. So yes, people are
well,
still getting paddle injuries.
yeah,
Also.
although what he said is the problem with paddle is the carpet. It stops you abruptly when you stop and turn. That's
Okay.
where the injuries come from. But anyway, so my
Yes.
treatment was stop playing paddle. So that's
Yes,
what
yes.
I'm doing.
I mean, to be honest, it's often, unfortunately, often the case when it comes to sport injuries, and I guess the only treatment for it would be people to say to stop. I mean, as a kind of rehab trainer, I would always think that there are many other ways that you
Yeah.
can still try. But yeah, of course, at some point it is just, yeah, there's nothing more to fix. It's just
No,
to
exactly.
try.
Well, it's knee replacement or stop. So I think it was an easy decision for me. At least I can still cycle, so that's all right.
Yeah, I was gonna say the cycling should be really good for your knees, actually.
Yeah, yeah. No, it is very good.
I also had a knee injury and had to have an operation, and cycling really helped me afterwards.
Excellent. Let's turn to Poland now. So what would you say makes Poland special for you? Obviously, once relationships and things, personal, but just as a country, what is special for you in Poland?
Well, to be honest, at first it was very difficult for me because we don't know that much about Polish history. I didn't learn that much when I was at school, of all of the things that went on here. So it took quite a bit of deep diving when I arrived here to kind of understand the mentality and people's ideas. But now that I really get it, I think Poland is a fascinating place, especially since it was kind of wiped off the map. It didn't exist for for some time, and then it had World War II. It was in a very unfortunate sandwich position between Russia and Germany in the Second World War. And then then they had a long time of communist rule, which really changed a lot for people here. It really changed the nation, and people are now only really recovering from this. So I would say the people and the country is in general just special. So there's not just one thing to take out of it. But in the beginning it was hard for me. People have this idea that Polish people are quite cold and not that friendly, and it was hard for me to get through to that first, because I lived in England. South Africans are warm people. It's you just talk to anybody in the queue. My wife, now when we go to South Africa, she's like, the people in the queue are talking to me, asking me what I do and where I'm from. Here it takes ages. Like, I've known people in Zakopane I knew for months, and they didn't even ask me where I'm from or what I do or anything. So it was really strange for me. But then I realized that, yes, after the Second World War and communist time, people were afraid to ask anybody anything. It was such an anxiety in the country. People were so nervous, and everybody was suspicious of everybody. and that was part of the kind of communist control regime. Yeah, and it wasn't that long ago. It was really like 40 years. It was still in people's minds. So now people are recovering from this and really opening. But yeah, it's still a big part of why. Well, that, and I guess the weather. They say people from hot countries are definitely open and more friendly than people from colder countries. Although, in Poland we have like a split. We have really, really beautiful summers and really cold winters. So
which is nice. I sometimes think South Africa, well, the winter in the Cape gets quite miserable, but it's much more temperate here. When you're in the north in Europe, you find that the winters are winters and the summers are summers. So yeah,
yes,
that's very true.
it's very true.
Just I was asked this question around, sort of just for people, the reality check in terms of cost of living. Stupid question. What would a cappuccino cost where you live?
So at the moment, it can be like 10 zlotys to 15 zlotys, which is around €3, something like this, 3 euros. Poland has always been considered quite affordable, cheaper than other places. The economy is rather growing in the last years. It's become more and more expensive, but yeah, it's catching up to Europe for sure, really fast. There are much more. Yeah, sorry.
No.
There's much more like economic possibilities here as well. So like 12, 14 years ago when I moved here, definitely when I said I was moving to Poland, British friends, South African friends, and actually from all over Europe would just be a little bit shocked. Like, why would you want to move to Poland? And now when I say I live in Poland, and to my friends, it's completely different. People, I think a lot of British people immigrated to Poland. They made Polish girlfriends also and moved here. And I'm on British expats groups, and I see a completely different trend that people are trying rather to move here. For various reasons. It's affordable. Houses are still affordable, but the economy is growing, and it's really safe. I mean, yeah, it's uncomparable to South Africa for
and
sure.
probably even to London.
To London, yes, and to the rest of England. For reference, I bought a camper van. And we can just literally in Poland, there are places that you can do wild camping. It's marked, so you don't have to be in a campsite or anything. Just drive and park, and you can be absolutely completely safe. It's something that of course, in South Africa you can't even really consider.
No, absolutely.
Not in this sense.
Rita, you mentioned the currency. Do you run a dual currency like Hungary's forint and euro? Do you have the same in Poland?
No, we have only zlotys.
Okay.
Although we are part of the EU, and I guess under EU there were terms and conditions when they joined that they should take euro. I don't think that it's on the cards at the moment. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
So for a tourist, you can't come there with euro. You have to exchange.
Yes, you would have to exchange.
Okay.
Exactly.
You mentioned rent. What would a sort of average 2-bedroom apartment cost you there, just for comparison?
To rent
Yeah.
per month. Well, that also varies. It depends from Warsaw, Kraków, here in Bielsko. So Kraków and Warsaw would be quite more expensive. I guess an average 2-bedroom to rent would be around 3,000. So this 4,000 in Kraków, kind of small apartment.
And in euro that would be?
Yeah, that is 4.5. So €500. Is that
Okay,
right?
so that is
600 euros, something like this.
That's relatively cheap.
I have to. Well, maybe I should just.
No, that's fine. It's just the other thing that we look at now is I just filled the car up yesterday, and where we are now, we're paying for 95 is around €2. a litre. It's gone up significantly from
Yes,
about
yes.
160 a while ago. Is fuel expensive there as well?
No, exactly. We have, well, it would be similar. Then we have a little bit less than €2 at the moment
Okay.
for petrol. So, but it also gone up significantly after the war, or recently again. But there are some funding from the state actually to subsidize some of the petrol, so to help people, because it did increase quite a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Very suddenly.
Retha, so let's talk about food in Poland. What would one consider to be traditional food in Poland?
So there are a lot of different traditional food here. But maybe like in Hungary, there is a lot of the traditional food, a kind of peasant food, like a goulash, and then pierogi. Most people would have heard maybe about pierogi. To be honest, I love it. I absolutely love eating pierogi. It's like a dumpling, so you can fill it. Pierogi ruskie is the most popular one. It's Russian pierogi, and it's like a mixture of potatoes and onion and cheese in as a stuffing for the dumpling. It is really delicious. I love it. And then foods, a lot of fermented food because of the weather. So it's definitely great for your gut. The soups, like we have jurek, which is a very traditional food. It's made with fermented rye. So you start the fermented rye flour, and the soup itself has very, very distinct taste. I don't think you taste anything else around the world like this. Yeah,
Okay.
and people would add like sausages and boiled eggs in the soup as well. And then we have the borscht, like barszcz czerwone, the beetroot soups that are just amazing. Very nice.
Okay. And we spoke about mushrooms earlier. Would people use mushrooms a lot in their food as well?
Yes, actually they do. So there are a lot of mushroom foods and soups that specific mushroom soups that people would cook, and some of the ones are like fried for breakfast and things like this. It just depends which season it is and which one you found. But most Polish people would have a few traditional mushroom dishes also.
Okay.
So,
And
yes.
alcohol? Wine? Do they
Vodka.
grow? Are there wines in Poland?
Wine is only really starting now a little bit. Beer and vodka. The Polish beer
Okay.
is very, very nice. We have some like Żywiec, that's maybe more familiar, and yeah, a few imported beers. But people drink more and more beer. As in, I think in the past it was hard alcohol, vodka, and different spirits. So beer now, more craft beer places are starting really to have some local beers. Here and there, some wineries in Poland, but it's very new. It's a whole new concept. A friend of mine has a wine shop in South Africa, in Krakow, and he is importing wines. And it's a very interesting phase for Poland when it comes to wines.
It's interesting because I mean Hungary's got a very well developed wine industry, and it's kind of next door to you.
Yes. Yeah, I guess it never really came over the border that well.
Okay.
And now more and more, there are Hungarian wines in the shops, which I quite like. But then there are the new like vineyards in Poland that are really trying to make some good wines. A friend of mine has one closer to the German border, a small vineyard, and in that area you can go to a few places and even try it. It's nothing like Stellenbosch Franschhoek when you go to drive around there. Yeah,
and
but
and
it's baby steps, baby steps.
and lastly, you said spirits. What about something like a Mampur or a
Yeah, like a
Grappa,
Witblitz.
a
Yes,
Witblitz, yeah.
yes, they have that here too. So I have to think about what the name is now, but I've
And
had
in
a couple of times. It's
strong,
it's very strong. Yes,
yeah.
it's
And
from potatoes. The vodka is made
okay,
from potatoes, mainly here. I mean, potatoes in general is very big in Poland. You can do anything with a potato here.
I would do well there. I love a potato.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you can mash chips. I love it, all of it. So if there's one vegetable that I won't live without, it's a potato.
Excellent.
Yes, and yeah, the vodka that they make from this is very strong, and it's good. Just as a story, I was at some friend's house when I moved here first, and it's just a lot of vodka flowing all the time. Like at the weddings, it's in phases, and you never get away from it. And at some point, all the vodka was finished, and I was like, "Great, this is fantastic," because it was a bit too much for me. And then one guy was like, "Actually, I'm sure I have a bottle in my car still." So I went. And then another guy was like, "I'm sure maybe in my bag I must have." It's like just so this typical Polish party when you think it's all done, it never is. There is somewhere still. So yeah.
Yeah. One of the other things that we always discuss is just healthcare. I think in my time when we grew up and living in South Africa, Discovery obviously became the gold standard, and it is of very high quality. What is the healthcare like where you are?
Well, we have stay like what you would have in England as NHS, the National Health Service, which is actually really good. People often complain about it, but from a South African point of view, like our national health care is not something that anybody it's. And I don't know how to say this in a nice way. Sure. but then living in England, the NHS has always been quite good, although it's not at the moment. I know from my friends that live there, and even in the times before I left, you'd have to wait months for appointments, and the appointments are short, and you just don't feel like you're looked after. And in Poland, actually, the National Health Service is brilliant compared to many other places. So my Polish friends are always complaining about it. I think everybody complains about their health service in the country. It's one of those things. But I always tell them that actually, it's great. People fly back home. So Polish people that live in England just fly back to Poland to rather have their health checked here, and operations, or especially dentistry and things like this. Yeah, it's cheaper, and it's really good quality. So I don't have a private health plan here. For me, for now, the state, the National Health Service has never been a problem for me. I make appointments within a week. I had the operation on my leg done. I had to, there's some problem with cartilage, and within 3 months I had the operation, and it went really well, and rehabilitation afterwards, and it was all included in national health.
Wow, that is amazing, because you don't often hear that. I mean, in Portugal, if you have an accident or things happen to you and you close to death, then the state will look after you very well. But to just do day-to-day stuff, people have to wait for a long time as well. So it's kind of the same. We're on private health, so
Yes.
but it's just, it differs from country to country.
It does.
Just one other question around Poland. You've done business there and you've set up businesses. Is red tape an issue?
Yes. Yes.
Bureaucracy, like everywhere.
Yes. bureaucracy is a big thing in Poland. It's getting less and less, but yeah, there are so many forms, so many things to fill in, and honestly, accountancy for a company is getting out of hand, difficult. So it's not like, in England and in some countries, if you run a small company and you have a little bit of accountancy knowledge, you can kind of make it up as you go along and make sure that everything is filled in and just have an accountant check it or something. In Poland, it's completely different. It's a very, very difficult system, and you really need someone, especially as a foreigner, but even locals.
And are taxes high?
The taxes are similar to South Africa and the rest of Europe, but like the contributions, saying that the health service is good here, the contribution to the health service is high, but it's part of what you pay for.
No, well, you get, and if you get value for it, you don't
exactly
mind.
Yes, you do.
I think
So
that's the important thing.
Yes,
that is absolutely fascinating. Are you now a Polish citizen or are you British citizen? What's your status?
So I have I am British. Well, I have a British passport after living in England. When I was there, my company that I then worked for applied for a work permit for me, and then through that I could get a residency and then passport. So I hold British and South African passport, and I moved into Poland in the time when England was still part of the EU. You can remember those glorious days. Good old days. And at some time being here, that disappeared, faded away. And so there are a few British people that then, because we were here before Brexit, we are kind of treated in the same way. We have the same rights as what we had before the Brexit. So we are allowed to live here as British citizens because we had already immigrated and made Poland our home. So I get like a kind of residency card that's slightly different than other people's. We are, I think, a small number of British people that hold this residency card. Yeah, and that's so I am here as a resident, and it's not supposed to expire. The card itself will expire every 10 years or something, but I should be able to just renew it.
Okay,
but
awesome.
Yes. But yeah, I could qualify to get Polish nationality because I've lived here that long. Although you'd have to have passed the language course, like B1, which I should be able to pass as well. But yeah, I'm not sure if, as far as I'm aware, I'm not really allowed to hold 3 nationalities. So my fear would be to give one up. So I would have to give up a British passport. So I'm not sure where my heart lies with this.
Okay.
For sure, I won't give up the South African passport, not for anything. that's a definite. But yeah,
Groen Mamba.
Groen Mamba, yeah, exactly. Not that it's helped me very much. I'm not sure it will, but it's the ticket to my family and my roots. It's a big thing for me, especially nowadays. Last year I did a whole ancestry check. I found, for the first time, kind of know where my ancestors came from when they arrived in South Africa. And I'm starting to deal also with the things of moving back home or being closer to South Africa, because I think in the time when me and my friends left, it was difficult. It didn't feel a little bit that it didn't feel like you belonged so much. It was just after apartheid and felt maybe slightly guilty for many things, even though, what could we have done in that time? We were kids. But yeah, so now when I'm a bit older and coming back to South Africa, I'm really looking for this kind of roots and family and country. It's it's just
No,
yeah.
I think I hear that a lot. A lot of people are moving back. Funny, they don't move back to Joburg. They all go to Cape Town for
Wonder
obvious
why is that?
for obvious reasons. But yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I was going to say, what's kind of other than family, what do you miss most about South Africa?
It's almost everything.
Oh, really? Okay.
Almost, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I think all South Africans feel the same when you arrive at the airport. It's like no other country. The people, the mix of people, the friendliness, the openness, the food, the sunshine. I don't know, the sky is just open, different. The earth, when I walk sometimes around, it just feels so different. So yeah, I miss that. I miss, now I am in the thinking of opening a company in South Africa. I wanted to import some things to Poland, actually, but in the end I think that I will maybe stick with having a souvenir company in South Africa, because I kind of know what people want to take. Running a souvenir Poland company in Poland, I've always kind of known what people would want to take from their travels. I know that doing business in South Africa can be really easy. Africans are so open to cooperation, to talk, to start something, whereas in Poland it's very, very different. It's harder, maybe you know that from other countries as well. It's not the same. So I miss the people.
Before we wrap up, if documents are on your to-do list, Apostille handles everything and will courier it directly to you. I've linked Apostille in the description below. Well worth a look at if documents are on your list.
So
That's also true. A lot of people say that.
yeah.
So,
and rusks.
well, I've got a wife who bakes rusks. So.
I just don't find it economically enough to make my own rusks, and they're not that good. So
No, she's very good. She does the same as she did in South Africa. So,
fantastic! You're lucky. You should post me some.
Maybe she should start a business. Yeah.
Yes.
Rita. So, I mean, maybe last question. There's a lot of people young people who the same age that you were when you left, thinking about making a move or they building a career in South Africa. What would you say to them? What advice would you give a young person now?
That want to leave South Africa, that have an opportunity to go abroad. Is that what you mean? I would say go. For sure. Life is so short, and there's so many things to experience, and so many people to meet, and so many places, and all of it is an enhancement. All of those travels all of those places that you see, it builds something different in you. Like I feel like you could. It's all of it is going to build you as a person in a different way that it would if you just stayed in one place all your life. Maybe you will go for a few years and go back, but I don't think that you'd ever regret the experiences that you've had outside of South Africa. Can't see how
that is awesome. That's great advice. I think it makes a lot of sense. People could always go back, but if you stay there and you don't go and experience it, you don't know what you're missing. So
yes, you'll never know. Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Rita, thank you so much for sharing your journey and your perspective on living and working in Poland. Absolutely fascinating conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jan. It was really a pleasure. It's good luck with all of this that you're doing. It's great. I've been listening to the other podcasts as well, and it's so nice to hear other people's experiences. And yeah, I hope that it helps people also if there's someone that is
That's
thinking.
what we try. Thank you.
Okay, Jan. Have a nice morning.
And to our listeners, if this episode resonated with you, please consider sharing it with someone who might enjoy the conversation. You can also find more episodes of the Relocated South African on your favorite platform, or visit our website at relocatedSouthAfrican.com. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.
This episode is brought to you by Sable International, building futures beyond borders.